Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Blizzard just released the patch notes for Warcraft Rumble Season 3 and the update 4.0.0, so the patch is coming tomorrow. Tomorrow all of these changes will go live, and well, the overall look about this patch, well, there are not a ton of balance changes, there's a bunch of bug fixes, there are not a lot of new features, well, no new features really, but there are some systemic changes that you should be aware of, including a major change into the way that you can farm XP. That's probably the most significant thing here, so let's talk about that one first. Because that's covered by a single bullet point here, additional PvP improvements. PvP wins will now re-roll green quests. Yes, so what does that mean? When you win a game of PvP, your quest is going to be re-rolled, so that green quest can turn into a blue quest, or it can turn into an purple quest, into an epic quest. So theoretically, it is now possible, starting from tomorrow, to play PvP, and then go do a blue or purple quest, play PvP, go do purple or a blue quest, and by alternating playing PvP and completing quests, you are able to, theoretically, complete all 20 of your daily quests in either blue or epic format. Yes, so triple XP or 5 times XP. Downsides? There's a downside in that whenever you roll a quest, whenever a quest appears, it uses your active army. So because PvP win rerolls the quest, that means that the quest, the lowest level mini in that quest, is going to be from that PvP army of yours. So if you want to get quest for specific mini, you have to include that mini in your PvP army. But this is pretty huge. This is more quest XP than has ever been possible before. And this means that now the optimal way if you want to farm for XP is to play PvP until you manage to get a blue or purple quest, then do the quest and then go play PvP again until you get another blue or purple quest and repeat that cycle. But that's not the only change in the patch. Let's take a look at what else is there. Last season's new mini, Chimaera, will now appear in the grid and various troop choice rewards. So Chimaera has not appeared in the grid yet, but when the patch arrives tomorrow, after that Chimaera should become available in the grid. So don't use your buttons yet. Wait until the patch. Then War Chest. War Chest crests will no longer be immediately granted based on players' new honor after a season reset, or re-earned for honor below that value. Instead, all War Chest crest rewards for 200 honor gained per family have been greatly increased. Well, there have been lots of reports that people have not been getting all of their crests, and I think it might be connected to this. I didn't experience this myself. I got the crests exactly as I should have gotten them when I did all the PvP right after the new season started, but Blizzard might have changed the server side because people have been reporting that they have not been granted their old crests, only the new ones that are earned. So maybe there's something going on with that server side already. Possible explanation, or then people just start counting wrong. I cannot tell, but that would be plausible. And this is a super big, gigantic nerf to earning war chest progress from PvP. Yes, getting those guild points, getting that mini on day one, getting the epic core. PvP has been by far the best way to get crests. If you have been in a PvP guild, you could have earned the epic core on day one. And now Search has become far better than PvP, because this is immense. Watches rewards per 200 honor gained per family. So, crests gained per 200 honor, now you gain 100 crests per 200 honor. But these are not retroactive, and you're not going to be reset below 3000 honor. So if you're at 3000 honor and you don't have high level minis, you're not going to be able to advance much at all. And previously you had 300 crests at 3000 honor that you got immediately at the start of the season. Now, in order to get those 300 crests, you would have to climb to 3600. Yeah. And then you're still not getting the crest that you used to. So you have to get to almost 4000 before you're even between the new system and the old system. And yeah, 4000, about that. Well, I guess PvP guilds can still do it, but they can't do it on day one because they have to play a lot in order to earn those crests. So it's going to be much more difficult to unlock the new mini at the start of the season. It's going to start taking that 2 weeks rather than just just taking one day. Yeah, I can't say I'm a fan of this change. This change makes it so much more difficult to earn stuff, and making it more difficult to earn stuff in this game. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that's a terrible change. Then there are the PvP changes, many of which were already discussed earlier with the Season 3 reveals. So map is starting to be a random map. It's no longer a fixed map for a period of time, but from a pool of maps you're going to just play a random map every game. PvP experience, the map modifier is out, will be replaced with a new modifier type, which is enchants. So now there's going to be tower, mod and enchant. The first enchant this season is collateral damage, which causes players' bases to take damage whenever a tower they control is captured. Some existing mods have been moved into enchant category, new mods are out to take their place. Keep an eye out for a new mod, Bounty Hunt. Bounty Hunt awards player a bonus code for every 5 enemy minis they kill. Alright, well, random map is fresh, I do like that. I think that's a good structural improvement. And then there are additional PvP improvements, which also seem pretty good. PvP wins will award 2 reward pips in players' daily rewards. Nice, you don't have to win 9 games, you can win 5 games if you play PvP, that's good. PvP wins will reroll green quests as discussed, so new method to farm, combining PvP and PvE if you want to do optimal farming for XP. Players will earn slightly more honor if the leader being played is below the average honor of the top 3 leaders, has fallen below that leader's peak honor, has won several matches in a row and is considered to be on a win streak. Well, I don't think that's very relevant. But then a good change. Treasure chests will now spawn 15 seconds after a match begins rather than immediately, giving players some time to contest. And I think this is a really great change, because treasure chests being available right at the start of the game means that unbound minis are the only way to validly get them. Like, you have to have an unbound mini that you can deploy at the chest and get it, and win it, and potentially get a lot of gold. But now, because they spawn 15 seconds later, that means that reliance on unbound minis to always get the chest is going to be lower. I think unbound minis are still going to be super popular, but this is definitely a change in the right direction to make non-unbound minis more competitive. Also resolved a rare situation where players would be silently matched with a ghost game and lose honor if they left the PvP queue. Yeah, I have heard of that happening. Resolved a visual issue where minis would sometimes not appear to return to the tray if players decided not to deploy them after dragging them out of the tray. That's a curious one, because I think some people have claimed that it's not a visual issue, but they actually cannot return it to the tray, that it will get played even if they try to return it. I'm not sure about that, I hadn't experienced this myself, but hopefully all of that is also fixed. So okay, some nice changes. Then some minor quality of life changes. Guilds players can use their equipped emotes in guild chat. Yay! Arclight search started pop-up will now only indicate the currently searching zones as intended. Hey, that has been super confusing. Always getting, hey, these zones are all searching, and no, they're not. Like, what are you talking about, Safe Pilot? That's not true at all. But starting from tomorrow, maybe it will be true. And then grid, mini info, talent info can be viewed for relevant items in the grid, and talents in the grid will now display the name of the mini they belong to. Alright, that's nice, small quality of life changes, I like that. There are also relic changes for dungeons and some new relics for dungeons. Ages of Battle should now cause critical striking minis to deal double damage as intended, was triple damage, well it was bad anyway, so who cares. Shadowblade's description has been updated to clarify how its bonus damage works, alright. And new relics have been added to the pool. Play some dungeons, try them out. Bloodlust Epaulets, your minis gain Bloodlust below 50% health. Okay, might be a little bit useful, but then again you typically want your damage dealers to be in the backline and they don't take damage and then they don't get the bloodlust. But maybe you can go more into brawling style with this, more into melee, get some bloodlust going, maybe. Vanishing Powder, your minis cast Smoke Bomb at 50% health, stealthing nearby allies. That could be really scary with some kind of Maiev teams, for example. Teams where minis being in stealth gives them bonuses, then yeah, Worgens, Huntresses, Prowlers. There could be something about that. We'll see. Escape Potion at 50% health, minis blink, but this is disabled, okay. Absorption Drape, spells leave behind a mana crystal, granting resist to the first ally who touches it. that could have some minor uses, but then again you have to cast a spell so that it's on the root of the mini, so it's going to be pretty tricky. Heart of Fire. On death, your minions leave behind a Heart of Fire, granting double damage on the next attack to the first ally that touches it. Maybe. We'll see. Seems tricky to use, but maybe you could have a squad that leaves those and then some other minis that use them. We'll see. And Soul Seeds. On death, your minis leave behind a flower, healing the first ally that touches it. It doesn't say how much. If it heals your first ally the full, perhaps, but I don't know. If it's just that small regeneration effect, then probably not worthwhile. So doesn't look like any of these are going to be top tier. There are some that can be situational, like that Vanishing Powder with the right team comp. There might be something to it. Bloodlust with the right team comp again. Maybe there's something. And maybe double damage and resist can be used, but they seem really difficult to use. They're not nearly as easy as the current mainstream relics are. And finally, we have bug fixes for minis, leaders, troops, and spells. I have to say that most of these I have not even encountered, and this first one is kind of also a balance change, right? Baron Rivendare. Baron Rivendare's passive skeletons will no longer spawn from under construction towers and meeting stones, so another Baron nerf, really? You could consider it a bug fix, who knows, but it's effectively another minor Baron nerf. Then we have Cairn. Cairn should now retain Bloodlust after resurrecting. Okay. Torzan now has the Bombard trait. People were wondering where did the Bombard go. Torzan did not shoot air anyway though, so it was just that the trait was missing. Now it is there, so okay. I don't think Bombard trait has any synergies either, so really doesn't matter, except for clarity. Tyrion's Divine Shield talent should now properly ignore damage from an enemy Drakizat. Alright. Angry Chickens using Walking Crate should no longer be immune to Polymorph and should no longer be hit by ranged enemies below them while crossing a bridge. Alright. Then we have Core Hounds. Guard Dog talent should now deal 50% extra damage as intended. Was 150%, but everyone used the unlimited resurrection anyway. Nullbrute's Pillage talent should now properly activate Sneed before Greed bonus. Okay. Also not a very common talent though. Griffin Rider's Mighty Throw talent should no longer cause her to switch targets. Right, Huntress's Donasian Steel talent should no longer grant her an unintended +1 range. That was something that had been discussed quite a bit, that hey, have you noticed that Donasian Steel also actually gives range? Well, it no longer does, which means that even fewer people will pick it up. Not many people were picking it up even before. Safe Pilot using the Gnomish Cloaking Device talent will now properly attack while bloodlusted. Yeah, that was I don't know, hilarious, sad, but seeing that Safe Pilot getting bloodlust and then just freezing, too much pressure, can't shoot, but should work now. So that's actually a good fix. That happened a lot as well. And Spiderlings and Plague Farmer. Spiderlings and Plague Farmer have been given the Elemental trait due to their non-physical damage type. And this is important because this means that now you can put Spiderlings and Plague Farmer into elemental slots in your army bonus slots. And elemental slots is super important. It's also super useful because there are so many minis that are elemental. You typically want to have an elemental slot if you have a leader that has it available. And now Spiderlings and Plague Farmer can go into that, and that is really, really good. And finally, another adjustment to Blizzard's Code Snap talent should now properly stop enemy movement, even when an enemy has a speed buff. Yeah, maybe it stops it, maybe it doesn't. Now it should be finally fixed. And Cheat Death Vampirism talent should now properly trigger when affected minis deal damage to a boss. Welcome Bugfist, that one. So that's the patch. No real balance changes apart from the Baron change, a bunch of bug fixes, Spiderlings and Plague Farmer going into elemental slots in your armies, that's actually important. Then the new farming method, where you can farm with a combination of PvP and quests, is the most effective way to farm XP now. That's actually a really big deal. And then that huge nerf to the way that you gain crests for your guild progress through PvP, which is, well, I'll have to do some new calculations for Season 4 and see how quickly the Season 4 mini can be earned. For this season, at least if you were there on day 1, you could still get all the XP as usual, and you were able to unlock Torreson on day 1, but if you missed that window, then now it's going to get a little bit trickier. So that's Warcraft Rumble Season 3 Update 4.0.0. Not many major things overall, so we're still looking forward to Moonglade and the raids and all sorts of good stuff, but slowly but surely, Rumble is rumbling on. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.